I just want to give you an incredibly big hug, everybody, and to say thank you so much. And I just want to tell you how it is, what it is we're at right now. Because, you know, out there in the bigger world, people just know that they're kind of up against the breaking point. And the Democrats, like the Republicans, got us here, and they're not going to fix it for us. And this campaign from the start has been like giving out candy. You know, I had thought this was going to be really hard moving up to the national level, and it would be really scary and kind of bitter. But from the moment things began at Western Illinois University, where we had 6 minutes to explain what this campaign was about to, you know, to 1,000 or more students gathered in that auditorium for their general election, as part of their mock election, I had 6 minutes to say what the campaign is about, you know, and the campaign is about jobs. So when you graduate, it's not a question of whether you have a job, you have a job, because that's part of our Green New Deal, which will not only eliminate the economic emergency, but will also launch the green economy that makes wars for oil obsolete and put a halt to climate change. And that when you graduate, you don't have to worry about those horrible student loans, because public higher education should be free, and we should eliminate student debt. We did it for the bankers. We can do it for the students. We will provide health care as a human right under Medicare for All, because it's not only the right thing, it saves us money. We will bring the troops home, because that is how we truly build our security, not by, you know, scattering bombs and rockets and drones and army bases around the world. And we can downsize our military budget, cut it in half, and still be spending 3 times as much as the next biggest spender. And we can legalize marijuana, because it's a drug which is dangerous because it's illegal. It's not illegal because it's dangerous, because it's not dangerous at all. So I went through that in 6 minutes, and suddenly we went from 3%, which is what we were running at using some surrogate markers, to 27% in a student body that had never voted Green, Progressive, Lefty, or Independent. And that said to me, oh my God, hold on to your hat, this is going to be a really different kind of campaign. And I thought, you know, well, maybe this is just Western Illinois University, but virtually every event that we've done since then has been the same. Last week, when we qualified to be the official nominee of the Green Party, having won the number of delegates we need to cross that threshold, we started having some interviews with the mainstream press. So we had one with ABC News, not your bastion of progressive readers and thinkers. So the article, which was put on the ABC News blog, had the title, "Here Come the Greens, More Jobs, More Pot, and No More Servants for Wall Street." So it was, you know, it was kind of like corporate press cynicism, but there was something real going on there, because they really did describe our agenda. So he went on to say, what an unrealistic agenda, that this is so radical, the public will never support it, and besides, you'll never get the money, because you don't take corporate contributions. So what totally blew me away again was the response of people on this blog. And again, this is an ABC News blog, where people are saying, that's not radical, this is exactly what we need. And you had Democrats saying, I've been a lifelong Democrat, and I've just had it with Barack Obama and the Democratic Party. I'm voting Green in this upcoming presidential election. There were Republicans on this blog that said exactly the same thing. I have been a lifelong Republican, but this candidate is talking about what we really need, and I'm voting Green in this election. So I just want you to know that you are part of this incredible tipping point moment, where we change the breaking point into a tipping point, and use the power of this election where the attention of the nation really gets focused. We use that moment, this incredible moment, to turn the breaking point into a tipping point, and to take back our democracy and the peaceful, just future that we deserve. The rebellion is happening out there. It's alive and well in the Occupy movement, in the democracy revolutions, and the austerity protests. unrest from California to Canada. It is alive and well, and it is begging for a voice in this election and a choice of the polls. And if we are on the ballot, as it's looking like we're going to be, hold on to your hat, because there's just no end to where we can go. The sky is the limit for where we can go in this election. And we've been seeing that basically on every front. We were at a cannabis rally in Denver before 20,000 people, where I was introduced as the Green Party candidate, and we all need to register green because Ron Paul has a cannabis agenda, but that's not enough. We also need a social agenda. I was at Occupy Wall Street for Occupy Student Debt in front of hundreds of students who were cheering for our campaign and for the fact that we're the only campaign talking about abolishing student debt. So we're there on the issues. The American public is really there like they've never been there before. And people are breaking away in extraordinary record numbers. So it's in our hands, and I want to give a special big thank you. So especially to Samantha for leading the charge, to Phil and to Jack for leading the charge for so many years. To Rita, especially, for getting so I want to give a big thanks to Matt and Chris for coming in from far away to make this. And I want you to know also that we've put out the call. I should give a big thanks to Erica as well for supercharging us with the Wisconsin Uprising energy, which is going national in this campaign. We're debating who's worse. Is it Scott Walker or is it Rahm Emanuel? We're thinking maybe Emanuel. I don't know who wins that one. But, it's like the lesson, we just came from Wisconsin. And the lesson that's starting to bubble up from this state of shock with the failure of the Democratic Party in the Wisconsin recall. What's coming out of that is people are realizing it's the Democratic Party that failed. It wasn't the uprising that failed. And that the take-home lesson is that the uprising needs a new party. And that's the Green Party. So we're seeing locals, we're seeing new locals happening all over the country, actually, as well as the state parties that are coming back all over the country. And we're seeing great candidates coming out of the woodwork in Wisconsin. Again, that's all over the nation. I've just come from Texas, where we have over 50 Greens running for local office in Texas. And many of them are coming from the Occupy movement. And Occupy and the Green Party have discovered each other in Texas, and the conclusion is it is a marriage made in heaven. And we have to spread this good news all around the country too, because there's a lot of occupiers that I think are really well empowered, finding some political traction. It's true that it's a tilted playing field and that it's a corrupted system, but I think occupiers are discovering that it's a corrupted system no matter where you turn. When you're out there demonstrating and you're surrounded by police in full riot gear with the helicopters overhead, and they're being coached by Homeland Security on how to shut you down. That's a tilted playing field too. And to just simply raise the white flag of surrender over the voting booth is to put everything else at risk that we're working on. That we need to occupy the voting booth if we're going to occupy the rest of our communities and our society. A big thanks to Dylan Jambeck. Did I get that right? Jambeck? Jambeck. Okay, great. So Dylan has just come in from Wisconsin as well to help you with and bring that good Wisconsin energy. And of course, a big thanks to Nancy for running for office. had tried to arrange the ingredients here, you know, for what it would take to really start breaking through, to have a social movement which is breaking away from the Democratic Party now, a Democratic Party which is being led by, you know, basically a puppet of Wall Street who last week just, it was leaked, he's now negotiating a new free trade agreement that like puts to, it's like NAFTA on steroids. You know, it's like after he expanded the war in Afghanistan and withdrew from Iraq only because it was George Bush's withdrawal day, and attacking our civil liberties and all the rest. It's like the time couldn't be better to be waking people up. And he's waking people up and we're helping them stand up. And the combination is really powerful. If you wake up and you don't stand up, it like doesn't do you any good at all. But if you wake up and you stand up and you've got an organization that gives you something to stand up for and a structure and a framework to stand up with, it's just incredibly exciting. So thank you all. It's really, you are, you know, you really are the front lines of the campaign. Illinois is critical. This makes us a real campaign. If we were on the ballot in 30 states, but not on the ballot in Illinois, you know, it would be more like a symbolic campaign and not a real campaign. So we've got to make this happen. You are making it happen. We're going to do everything we can to make this as incredibly exciting and successful as it can possibly be, and we're going to get there together. So thank you for making it happen.